Cancer, thank you so much. Enjoying your day, I hope. So, this is a little video for 2023 and what now to expect from this very strange year. So, rabbit year, actually, for some of us cancers, is going to be very, very good. So, the reason why I'm saying this is because there are going to be ways that things just come back or they go back to where they should have been. Maybe there are people in your house that you've waited for your whole life. Maybe there is a goodness to you. Maybe there is just like a nice air to a Cancerian, or there's just like a nice feeling of we did it, or like this is the way, or this is how. Not for everybody though. So this is where you have to protect your psyche. Some of it is wishful thinking. You might be running around in patterns that you don't have to represent or be about, and for that reason it is a joy that might not be long lasting. So this kind of depends on where your root system is from, and not necessarily your ancestry, although that has a very, very big part to play. It's also about commitments and simplicity and positivity when it comes to the goodness, and understanding, just recognizing what is no longer needed or is kind of okay if it departed. Like knowing things to be just so, having a relationship with a person that cherishes you and that really keeps you safe, knowing what family heirlooms are, you know, knowing what careful and kind and conscious thinking patterns can do, knowing how to make a very beautiful stew, having a husband or like a wife that really takes care and is slowly and carefully helping you in your life. So this is about slowness, this is about a process, this is about tradition and culture. Traditionalism is a huge part of a rabbit year, usually, always, and it's also about making something new, as most rabbit years are about, but it's also about just being safe. And not many people can really fully help you, possess you, or give you the right type of courage, or like the right type of information, or maybe the right type of help. So you basically get to be the choosy one here, but it's not just about that. It's just about nurture, 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 and also being yourself there for you. And it's about having a sustainable network of people, maybe making money on your own, making your commitments last, making friends that last. It is very careful saving and savoring and packing of things. I know that many people really want to know us sometimes after a certain age, okay, or after a certain space, or after a certain thing happens in our lives, but we have to be all there for who we are. So no matter if you're living alone or if you're living in a family, or whatnot, it's very important to not be burdened now and to have nice and conscious safety, from just how you cross the room to where you go, to what you do, to how you are eating and thinking. And it's about knowing how to keep that nice regularity to a T, just down to a T, but also to know that other people aren't going to be responsible or important in certain situations. Maybe nobody can guide you out of certain states. So it's really difficult. Some cancers won't be able or available to go past a certain point. And it's going to be very hard for you guys to get to know yourself, so who you are before or after, meaning understanding your past or associating with your present or future. And it's going to be a hard game for some of you guys, and there's going to be probably nobody being able to help you after a while anymore. So for this reason, stock your cupboard full of food, okay? Have all those bottles and jars filled with preserves, okay? When it is winter, that's that. You can go and buy something like this, but when it is summer, make your own preserves. Make your friends open and conscious with you. Share things in the family. Make nice, wholesome, and whole relationships and commitments to only that which gives you worth and that which works for you. So the worst thing that can happen is an unprepared Cancer that's like, what, me, this, what, like who is going to be my friend, who's going to help me, who's going to service me, or who's going to give things to me. Just like Aries and also the other cardinal signs, you might be expectant of something to come from other people. And the worst case scenario, sometimes it would. But whether or not you want it the way that it is done or made or given, it kind of depends. And sometimes it's up to you. But to be honest, I feel that not a lot of Cancers can be a part of a thing, or just like a part, because they don't have something inside of themselves. Maybe you guys don't have what it takes. It is fully your responsibility now. So it's like, it is your responsibility to take care of the kitchen. It's your responsibility to pour yourself the right cup of tea. It is yours to do. And that might get very, very ugly and messy for some people. Also, through expecting the government or other people or anything to pay them and to carry them or to give them worth or to give them strategy is going to get very uncomfortable. And that means that although, yeah, we have collectives, it is coming from not like, give this to me, I need this, I have to share. Now you have to share with me. It's not like that. It's like, I have plenty, and should anybody need, I can share, depending how I feel about it. But it's not about pushing another person to be true. It's not about making somebody else feel that feeling. It's not about making someone else want to be with you or guide you or respect you or love you or share or give you money. So it's very, very careful. It's like all about just you guys. And yeah, seriously, watch your temperament, because I think not a lot of Cancers know that they can get very tyrannical sometimes, and they can feel like a lot of it is done to them, and they're somehow like forced into certain situations that are just not very grounded or not very guided, that they don't understand how to do anything. So it's important to grow out of these schemes. Infantile or tyrannical behavior, if you're constantly asking for other people to support or supply you something, it's going to get very real this year. And also, even if you're the most comfortable and conscious person, should you have a fight with somebody and tell them what you think or what you know, it might be unable to stop. So the process of disintegration, also the process of aging, the process of not having enough, the process of having little money or little esteem or little culture shared between you and other people, that's going to start to maybe go into an extreme for quite a lot of us. So it's important not to let that happen. So fights have to be resolved very quickly, and if you can, please avoid any spicy behavior or territories. And also, if you don't want to know, don't ask, because a lot of us are going through some shadow during Rabbit Year. It might look very nice on the outside, but what's inside is a question mark. So just know that sometimes people might overshare, and maybe it is not your point of existence to take a hold of somebody else's trauma or karma, or it is impossible for you to take care of everything and everybody in the story. But you will have to be that if you are not conscious and careful with yourself and your soul's purpose. So that's the thing. Don't make yourself the mother, even though it is about kind of like buying or sharing or sending. It is quite motherly this year, but it's not going to need to be in this place where you can't leave the house or you can't leave that person's side, because it's not meant to be. It's not proportionate. It's not appropriate to be constantly needed. And then also quite a lot of people sort of sense or know that about you, and they are going to be pretty well prepared, but be very conscious. If you are a very stunning Cancerian, and for example, you're a single Cancerian, you're lonely, or you haven't had a job for a while, or haven't had a lover for a while, some things can happen, and not everybody, not many people can fully understand or respect you, so you don't want a stranger living in your house. And you definitely don't want to be stuck at a job where you actually shouldn't work. And some of you should never have gotten paid for certain things, and it's a question mark of what is comfortable and what is normal, and also kind of what is regal, because to me it looks like this whole timeline and Rabbit Year is kind of about preparing and building yourself into a more beautiful and regal human. And some of it might be timed to really take you further into the next fractal, into the next base of who you are, who you have to be. A lot of it is not necessarily about upgrading your DNA, though some of it is. It is more about being more and more comfortable and lucky and conscious in who you are, and eventually reaching astounding results and washing yourself from all that therapy or sin or just things that happen sometimes in a person's life, and then becoming just really calm and quiet and very regal, very astounding for somebody else. And then also, I think that some other people are going to have to help you get on with that journey, but not every single person has a full compassion, respect, or understanding or resonance with you or who you are, what you mean. So that becomes really obvious. It's like maybe you'll have a lot of lives that you touch and a lot of hearts you touch, or a lot of people that can pay you for something, a lot of people that can pull you into the right focus with your journey. But then maybe if you really associate and think about it, not every single person has really the guts or the respect or the temperament to actually really help you. So it's like, getting an agent, and feeling like you're very lucky to both have each other, but then finds out that they're very disorganized or disorderly, and you don't actually really want that near you. So maybe there are ways in which there are lots of people lining up by about September's month, giving you hope and healing and wishing you to be an even bigger person than you are. So there's all of these suggestives of actually having a tribe and a country or people that want to give you energy, money, or worth, or wish to prolong your standing, prolong your life. Prolong your spiritual or creative practice, but there's probably going to be not a lot of it that you really need. So I understand that sometimes we have to go through it, like we get like a dodgy agent, just for the while until we get a better agent. But then there's also like a question mark of like, are you really needing of this? Are you really like real for yourself, or are you really thinking about yourself? Are you really healing for any of that kind of subordinate or like subdominant relationship building that could occur by October, November, and then eventually we go into a very potentially damaging and heart aching dragon year 24. So that's going to become a very easy picture for some people if they've been very well spruced and prepared for that kind of thing. And then for a lot of us, it's going to be not such an easy time, not such a good time to go into the year of the dragon and basically not yet have the personality, the power, the compassion, or the conformity to really be able to congeal and kind of put it all together, because it's like things are going to be packed and things are going to be just so strong, and they have to be very durable by the end, basically, even of September's month, 2023, to be able to afford that big launch during the Dragon Year 24. So we have to be very kind and forgiving, and please consider the fidelity of your wisdom and your friendships and time, and attention to detail is very important here, because you don't want to become somebody who is eventually obsolete or uncomfortable. So we're basically building you a never-ending story during a year like that. So in 23, we are like trying to help you sense yourself. It's about rebuilding your body and DNA in your tissues. It is about having more force and more natural understanding and knowledge. It is definitely about growing yourself more as a person. And it is definitely about becoming more open and more healing in the dream that you're dreaming. But I also understand that some people will not be able to grow past a certain level, and they are going to have to kind of cull certain ideas or missions. So as we are walking into September's end, and by October, November, you'll see it, there needs to be a very, very careful way in which you associate and adjust yourself, and how you pack your future, how you spruce and adjust yourself, keeping things clean and correct and very, very obvious is very important during such a year. And eventually Dragon year will treat you right, but not every single Cancer is going to be able to thrive during Dragon year. So that's the thing. So what we have to do is basically repeat patterns, make friends, you know, do things well, do good, be healing, be healed, be a part of something that's worthy and that's helpful, and do the best you can do. And by that, you will be well prepared. So it's about keeping your ear to the ground, understanding what other people are saying, understanding the market for which you're producing, whatever you're producing, if you're making something. Being very careful with your skin and face and hair, being very careful with how you associate and adjust yourself, being very, very kind and gentle to other beings, and eventually, inevitably, this whole game becomes very obvious, and there are quite a lot of results and result seeking in 24, but you shouldn't necessarily have to be there on the forefront. So that's the thing for a lot of Cancers. You don't necessarily have to work yourself up by the end of 23 to be a producer or a big star or like a very, very large maker or creative, if you don't necessarily have it in you to just casually and in a relaxed way make it happen. So it's not about building brawn and making that boof boof, you know, making that big power. It's about making you more maybe secluded and more innocent, and eventually by the end of 24 only some people are going to be able to be that. So there is quite a big industry or quite a big hope or quite a big maybe thing happening by the end of 23, and it's not going to be necessarily you or yours to do. So careful with ambition and wanting to answer before it's time. It's just such a nice time to be you and to be subdued, and subduing things is going to make them last and make sense for a longer amount of time. Thank you very much. Please listen to the next message. If you'd like more insights on this year to come, please check out my Almanac for 2023. It has all the information for all the signs, and it is available in Kindle book form and physical book form as well. And also, if you like, have a look at my Patreon with all the details for every sign, for every month, and day-to-day prognosis. And yes, my website, of course, where you can read more about me, and if you like, you can get a booking as well. And yes, I do year ahead readings, which are very popular every year. And here's my retreat website. If you're curious about coming to see me in Peru, then yes, of course, please like and subscribe. Thank you.